Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Corrupt Crew Chronicles. Yeah, you all, I've been very busy today. Not saying that I'm not busy any other days, but like I said, down at the bottom of the rabbit hole. I'm looking to be finished tomorrow, but all the dots connected. Y'all in trouble in there. In that circus code, I'm talking specifically to you all that's in that circus code, and one of them that's gone out of that circus code. I'm keeping it all the way real. Yeah, more complaints went in today, found out more information. Y'all in here, insurance adjusters, used automobile adjusters, not adjusters, appraisers, used automobile appraisers. Y'all connect the dots, y'all. Connect the dots. I'm talking to the ones that's gone from out of there. Some of y'all, of the ones that's gone from out of there, y'all be getting this big old email that I'm compiling, that I'm actually, that I've started on today, because it was, just so late. I just got finished with putting in complaints. For the ones I needed to sit here and do. I still have a few left for tomorrow. Yeah, it is bad, y'all. When I say it's bad, I mean it's serious. It is serious. These folks up in there, that corrupt crew, that circus cult leader, they have committed criminal activity and fraudulent activity. I have connected the dots all together. Yeah. Used car dealership. Let me tell you what a used car dealership, and also just a regular big high-end car dealership. It doesn't have to just be used. Yeah. What happens is that when they get, either someone is bringing in a car like for a trade-in, and they want to do a trade-in, they have to get their car appraised. Now, they'll get their car appraised by a used car appraiser at the dealership that they are looking to trade it in. Now, let's just say that they have a used car appraiser that puts a lower value to the consumer, the customer, all right? And the customer says, okay, I'll go ahead and go with that, because they don't know or whatever. So, and then they go ahead, trade in their vehicle, their automobile. Well, what happened is that actual car dealership, if they don't keep that automobile, and if they do keep it, they'll raise up the price way above what the appraisal was. Yeah, or, to sell it on the lot. So they can get all this, over amount, actually back in. Or, another thing that used car dealerships do is when they're buying automobiles, to actually sell, they'll have their appraisers, as far as for with that, but majority of the time it's when a customer is coming in to trade in their automobile, that they have that used car dealership has their own used car appraiser. Okay? And they, scamming, fraudulent. Yeah. Also, with the whole thing with the insurance and with the automobile accidents and all that, they have, like I said, there's a few of them in there who are claims adjusters. and casualty, also for home, personal, and also property for casualties that happen. So when we say like personal, that means getting in the car accidents, you get hurt. Property, that means your automobile, or for homeowners or renters insurance, like flooding, hail storms, they can cause damage, roofing scams, all of that. Yeah, y'all, I connect, and I thank Divine Spirit and my ancestors, because I was up like in the middle of the night. I was up, and and like I said before, it's not uncommon for me to be up. I mean, it's a lot of times it's common for me to be up, but I was up and I was searching, actually I was laying in bed on my phone, just searching different things, and I was getting information, and just everything, all of it, has come together. And when I was working on this today, I'm going to say this, I had to stop, because I started feeling just sick. I really did. I started feeling sick, because my energy is high, as far as for vibrational. That's low vibrational energy when you're lying, you're stealing, flim-flam scamming, you have these frauds going on, doing criminal activity, all of that. And so needless to say, used car dealership, y'all know what I'm talking about, was reported today to the Georgia, the Secretary of the State of Georgia, sure was. And also that rehab, what they do, y'all know what I'm talking about, that business with them homes and projects they do and stuff. It was reported again today, because I found out more information. Some other people been reported too. One who left from on up out of there about 2 or 3 years ago, and I go ahead and give this description. He's the one that we were supposed to get married. And yeah, this is going to be a segue on into that, because see, on videos past, I don't know how many back, I actually was talking about the sister the disabled sister in the wheelchair that was getting abused by the financial officer in there, and she's transitioned. And I don't know if you remember or not, those of you listening, I said, I gave her words of encouragement and just motivation when she told me how he broke up with her. I gave the scenario, and everything what she explained to me as far as for what happened, and I told her my story. Well, and I said, I'll get to that later on. Well, this is later on, because yeah, it ties into what I found out today. All right, so I came in back to that circus cult, got baptized in September of 2008. Okay? When I put my mind to something, I'm focused. Like, I'm serious about it, and I was serious about it. I never missed not one video that they uploaded. It back when I came in, and what I like to say, the old timers, quote unquote, as I call us, the old timers who came in between 2007 and 2010, that there was no live streaming. So on YouTube, we had to wait for the videos to be the service to be uploaded from them in that circus code. So I never missed one video. When we did actually start doing the live streaming, I never missed one live streaming. This is when I was living out of state now, out of towner now. I was that committed. Because like I said, when I put my mind to something and I say that I'm going to do it and everything, I'm serious about it. I don't care what it is. That's just like what I'm doing with this. I'm serious about it. That's why it's taking me this long. I mean, because I keep finding more things, and yeah, I could have stopped saying, you know what, I'm not going to put in more claims, more complaints, whatever. No, my divine spirit and my ancestors gave this mission to me as an assignment, gave this to me. This is a mission that's been given to me, an assignment, and I'm going to carry it out to the end. So anyhow, I got baptized and everything, and I'll never forget, I came down, it was on a Friday, and I took the Greyhound bus down because I didn't have a car at that time. I was working full time and everything, but I didn't have an automobile at that time, so it was a 15-hour bus ride one way. So one way going down there and one way going back, 15 hours each way, okay? So anyhow, I, got down there on a Friday and everything, and I'll never forget, it was that circus cult leader, Shitty One, his Lieutenant Dummy son number 2, the one that's hooping up on his wife's ass, and another sister who's no longer in there. It was their birthday. They have the same birthday. And so they was having a little celebration at the sister who's going out of there and her husband's place, because of course he was in there, and he was a minister. He was a brother, then got turned to minister when he was in there or whatever, and they're gone, they've been gone and everything. But anyhow, so at their home, and so it was a few of us actually there. I remember it was them, of course, their children, service cult leader, it was that the officer who's funky, nasty, and don't want to wash her ass per her husband. Who else was there? And it was a few other brothers and sisters there. And so I was getting baptized on that next day, on Saturday. And so one who was there, brother, is the one who's gone that is in with this insurance fraud that I went ahead and turned him on in, and PPP loan fraud and everything. Y'all, I'll just say this. That service code leader, Shitty One, made a screwball list and said, yeah, he's on the screwball list. And then also he was a reader. Service code leader used to always say that, he was his best reader. Yeah, so I'll just make that description for this brother. Yeah. So I would say this male, because fraudulent activity and all that. No, you're not my brother. But anyhow, so we greeted. I greeted, everyone or whatever, and so I got baptized and everything, and I'll never forget that after service on that Saturday, I think we went somewhere. I can't remember. We may have went out to eat or something. Well, anyhow, everybody was exchanging phone numbers, with me, and I got their phone numbers and they got mine and everything. And so, me and this male, we exchanged phone numbers. And so, I'm not thinking anything. My mind is set on, I'm like, okay, brothers, sisters, I'm like, okay, I'm elated, happy. I finally, was able to come down, get baptized and everything. And, I was like, and then, be able to be in contact, with those, that are in, the same, religious organization I'm in, believing the same things, I'm believing, instead of, kind of feeling, I guess you would say, kind of estranged, going back, I've been living, back in my home state, and no one else, actually, having the religious beliefs that I had and all that. So anyhow, so I go back and everything to my home state, and so, a few, they contacted me and were like, sis, did you get back all right? Did you get back safely? I was like, yeah, and everything, and he was one. And so he just kept on, like, like almost every day, and I didn't, I wouldn't think anything of it. I was like, hi, brother, how you doing, blah, 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 whatever. And then, like, he was making, I'll never forget, I guess, he want to call it his little Mac or I don't know, but anyhow, he was like, yeah, I'm premium, I'm premium gas. I'm 98. And I was just like, okay, like, all right, So anyhow, we started talking even more, texting, and then, we started actually being on the phone. And then, and more, and it just grew, and everything and stuff. And so, eventually he proposed to me. He did. And I said yes. But, looking back on it now, I'm like, I should have been like, no, we didn't know each other long enough, and stuff. But, I was just in my mindset like, okay, he's in here, and I'm thinking that everybody is focused on being, on their salvation, so to speak, and all that, and I'm serious, so everybody else is serious. That's what I'm, looking at it as. And so anyhow, so he had told that service code leader and everything. And so, my mother, because I was going to, have a wedding and a reception and everything. And so I was looking at venues, down there. Again, I'm still living in the home state where I'm from and everything, and I'm putting in applications, for places of employment down there, as well and everything. So, I'll never forget, I had come down, I already talked about the November 2008, when we had the fifth Sunday at Camp Truett. That's when we had that. We had it November 2008. And that's when we observed, every fifth Sunday, it was observing that at that time. Again, we grew out of that. When I first came in, we weren't observing, what they say Saturday. We weren't, doing that, grew into different things. When I came in, it was called holiness. Yeah. And then it morphed into Hebrew Israelite. And then, and then talking about being, a Jew and all that. So anyhow, I'll never forget, I came down, this was in February, because I had a job interview with the college down there that for the state is a technical college for the state of Georgia. And so I had an interview, was on a Monday. So I said, I'm going to go down there on Friday. Okay, so I took off, work and everything, and I drove on down because I rented a car. And, I got my own, when I came, I always got my own hotel room. I always had my own hotel room, even when I came that first time to get baptized. I took the Greyhound bus, but I had my own hotel room then. So I had my own hotel room, and I went ahead and I rented a car. I did the same thing in November 2008 for that fifth Sunday, at Camp Truett or whatever. I rented a car and had my own hotel room again, and everything. So, we had planned on it. We was like, okay, I'm gonna stand until Tuesday. I stayed until that Tuesday when I came down for that Friday. And so we had planned it, me and this male, that we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get to get our marriage license. The paperwork that you have to have in order for whomever is officiating, does the, wedding ceremony, pastor, minister, whomever licensed official. So, anyhow, so we went actually to the county of where he lived at that time. The male lived and everything, and he paid for it and everything. And we told the circus cult leader and stuff, and and everything. So okay, so I go ahead and I had the interview, and went very well and everything. So I returned back home. I want to say it was on that Tuesday, because I went ahead and I stayed down at extra state. So I went ahead and returned back to my home state. So when I got back to my home state and I checked my email when I got in, they had already emailed me from the college, the technical college down there, that they wanted me to come back for a second interview that next week. And I think it was on a Thursday. I want to say that one was on a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And so I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, because I was living home with my I was still living at home with my mother. And so I said, oh my goodness, Mom. I was like, they want me to come back down, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I also called that circus cult leader. I may have texted him, shitty one. Anyhow, so I was like, oh my goodness, and just exciting and everything. And so I was like, well, I'm not, of course it's on a Thursday, so I was like, I'm just going to work and I'm going to drive down there, because, from where I was living, it was only like 6.5 hours. And so I was like, when I get off from work, I'm just going to, already have my packed and go in the AM, get the rental car, go ahead and, have my clothes packed and everything and in the trunk, and work. And then when I get off from work, I'm just gonna hit the highway. So that's what I did. I got down there, and I never forget, the male, he was like, well, why don't we go ahead and have lunch before you go to your interview, because it was later in the afternoon, the interview was. And so I was like yeah, okay. And so went ahead and did that, and everything. And then went to the interview. Interview went wonderful. And I can't remember. I think I did a turnaround. Yeah, because I don't think I got a room that time. And so I did a turnaround, and I think, no, I take that back. No, I stayed. Yeah, that's what it was. I had a room when I got down there. That's what it was. I go ahead and I take that back. When I got down there, I had a room already reserved and everything when I came down from my job, driving down there. And yeah, and I went ahead and I stayed. Yeah, that's what it was. And then we had met for lunch, me and this male, before I went on to my interview, and then I went ahead and I left. Yeah, so I was, I was able to get, a few, hours of rest or whatever before meeting him for lunch and then going for my interview. So yeah, I did have a room. So anyhow, I went ahead, like I said, and came on back and everything. And when I got back, they had sent me an email again offering me the position. So, the teaching position, I was like, oh yeah, I told them, and I called that circus cult leader, shitty one, and I talked about this on another video, and he was like, yeah, Sister Amber got it, talking to his whore, shitty too. Yeah, she got the position. He was like, yeah. He was like, move on down here. He was like, and get that mail straight. He was like, yeah, we go ahead and we gonna get him together, get him all together, and this, that, and the other. So anyhow, we, went ahead and got the phone and stuff. And so, of course, I called the mail. And, and I told him, and he was like, oh, congratulations. And I was like, yeah, I was like, so, everything, come together and stuff. And see, by this time, my mother and I, we have selected a venue down there. It was actually going to be in a downtown hotel, and I can't remember which one it was. It may have been Marriott. I can't remember, but they're the ones who have the reception hall where they do all the decoration. You just tell them what color you want. They have the full service, the menu. You just select, what you want, and then also the cake as well, wedding cake. So, I was like, well, this is great, whatever. I said, we can go ahead, and do this. And then I had, we didn't put a deposit down on anything. I had just, selected, okay, this is where, I want to, have the, reception and everything. And then I had selected my wedding gown. I didn't, buy it or anything, just had it picked out. And then also invitations. Didn't purchase anything, but just knew what type of script and stuff I wanted, on the invitations. And so, and had my, the wedding colors, and everything. And so, everything, was cool. So like that next week, it was like a week, later, maybe a week and a half at the most, this male tells me that he changed his mind. He don't, he thinks that, we shouldn't get married. He doesn't want to get married, and, he just want us to, go ahead and slow down and take our time and, and all that. Yeah. Now, mind you, this is in February. I was coming, my first day of work was March 16th. That was a Monday. Okay. Yeah. Now this is like the middle to the second to third week of February when he tells me this. Yeah, just sprang it on me like that. Yeah, sure did. So I was like, wow, and I was just like, well, why? What? I'm one that is like, well, you come on me all strong, you the one who was all up on me, like, and everything. Like I said, my mindset wasn't on any relationship except for the one where they gonna say the Most High, that was it. So, and he was just like, oh, I just think we need to, to slow down, take our time more to get to know each other better and all this and that. And so I was like, okay, so mind you, he's still calling me because I fell back. I was just like, okay, I kept working, because like I said, I was working full time in my home state. Yeah. And so I just kept working all the way up until the point it was time for me to go ahead and move on down there, which I moved down there. Yeah, it was on Friday, March the 13th of 2009. So anyhow, and I was just like, okay, whatever. And he was still he was like, hey, what you doing and all this and that, and I'm like, I just got off from work, I'm like, okay, well, look, I'm getting ready to, go do whatever, I'm talk with you later. And just got off the phone, and I'll never forget that when I came down there on, I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end this video right here because I don't want it to cut off, but I'm going to be back with another video to wrap this story up. And until that time, I'm signing out.